You guys ready to watch my review? Alrighty then. The credit for that little hand motion actually goes to Jim Carrey, who tried to get it to become a staple of early 90s culture. It did not. But what did become an impact of early 90s culture and what carries into today is Jim Carrey's incredible performance in this movie. Now, in my last review, I mentioned the fact that School of Rock was the movie that propelled Jack Black into superstardom. It combined his personality along with his talents. In this movie, Ace Ventura, it doesn't necessarily combine Jim Carrey's talents unless he has a secret talent for finding dolphins and various other animals that we don't know about, but it was absolutely a perfect union of his personality and the script. Now, before I get into singing the praises of this movie, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear. The plot of this film is ridiculous. The premise alone is laughable, even though it's given a bit more credence later on. The plot points are so jarring that you can barely process them, and the twist ending is so bizarre that you would think that it came from the mind of Ace himself. This entire movie, without exaggeration, is carried and defined by Jim Carrey. The way that he's able to contort his face into these just ridiculous, insane facial expressions, the way that he's able to move his body in this kind of fluid, organic way that still feels very thought out and methodical, the way that he's able to deliver every single line so that it is quotable and memorable. Without Jim Carrey, this movie would be completely dead. The movie opens up with Ace acting as a mailman so that he can bring back this dog to a client, let's call her. He's not exactly treating this box with any respect, I can tell you that. I love the part where he puts it down in the hallway and then he goes, "We're going downtown." Pretty much every single line that Jim Carrey says in this movie is worthy of being a quote, and in some cases, it's an iconic cinematic line. Every single mannerism he performs is irresistible to imitate. To this day, whenever the opportunity presents itself, I just love saying, "There you go." So Ace gets the dog back, and then he goes back to his apartment, and he takes a branch and tries to hide from his landlord. But I mean, if your landlord was Hector Salamanca, can you really blame a guy for trying to hide? Ventura. Yes, Satan? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, sounded like someone else. We then meet Roger and Melissa, who are being chewed out by their boss because Snowflake has gone missing. And this is apparently a problem because it means that now the football players on the Dolphins are not going to be as confident without Snowflake there. I don't know, it's kind of stupid. At least that's what you think at first. The thing that I love about the character of Ace is that even though he's this really goofy, kind of off-putting cartoon character that's come to life, he's actually incredibly smart and really good at deduction. When he goes to the scene of the crime where Snowflake has been captured, he goes down, just basically brushes his hand over the tire tracks and immediately ascertains what kind of model it is. I'm not even sure if Sherlock Holmes could come up with a deduction that fast. So Ace then gets into the tank, followed by another round of amazing quotes. "If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. I just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power." I apologize for that close-up, but I just had to make it authentic. Ace goes off to the police station, and Lieutenant Einhorn comes down, and Ace greets her in the only way that Ace can. "Holy Testicle Tuesday." And we get another example of Ace's amazing intelligence when he differentiates between a porpoise and a dolphin. And I'm not going to try to quote that one because I can't. Ace makes his way to his hacker friend who I guess is renting the basement of some kind of performance venue, and ascertains that Snowflake might have been stolen by the billionaire Ron Camp, which makes for a hilarious scene which relies on the dialogue of the scene rather than just Ace's amazing facial expressions. Not saying it's a bad thing that the movie should rely on Ace's facial expressions because Jim Carrey is just a one-of-a-kind actor that deserves to rely on his facial expressions, but it was just also a nice little change of pace in the sense that, okay, now the dialogue is making us laugh, not just Jim Carrey. Ace thinks that he's cleaned everything up, but it turns out that it's just a great white shark that Ron is keeping in his mansion and not Snowflake. So back to square one. Ace hits a bit of a wall, and there's just a moment where the script tries to inject a little bit of humanity into the character of Ace. He and Melissa get into a little bit of an argument, so then he goes back and in a state of humility tries to apologize to her. I'm kind of glad they didn't stick with it. I'm kind of glad they didn't try to put more realism into his character, because like I said, Jim Carrey carries this entire thing, and if he's not Ace Ventura the entire time, the movie starts to fall apart. His apology is interrupted by a phone call from Roger Predactor's apartment complex where he has apparently committed suicide, but according to Ace, Roger Predactor didn't commit suicide. He was murdered. After humiliating the police force with his incredible detective work, Ace finds out that there's one more guy he still needs to investigate, Ray Finkel. They go to his home and we're introduced to the funniest character next to Ace, Ray Finkel's mom. "Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Would you like a cookie, son? Then they go up to his room. What a sports nut, huh? So then Ace makes the connection that Dan Marino might be in danger, and I do appreciate the fact that they got the real Dan Marino to be in this movie, but couldn't they have given him at least just one acting lesson? What is this, a rewrite? I suppose I shouldn't really expect much out of someone who's dedicated their life to being an elite quarterback, but it's just a little distracting given the material. Ace demonstrates his fanatical commitment to solving this case by being committed to a mental hospital. I still don't understand why he had to wake up Melissa at 3 a.m. though. It doesn't really make any sense. So maybe someone could explain that to me. Fun fact, the scene where he runs up behind Melissa and the doctor and he goes, "Free halftime, and then he kneels down and he slams his head onto the bench. You can actually see the doctor start to laugh and then the camera cuts off. There's a plot point that feels just a little bit too convenient, but we'll work with it. Wiggles, Ace's dog, inconspicuously puts his hair down on the picture of Ray Finkel, and it's just perfect. It just so happens to be perfectly lined up so that it makes Ray Finkel appear to be like a woman. Ace makes the connection that Finkel is Einhorn, and Einhorn is Finkel. And Einhorn is a man, followed by a scene that is borderline unthinkable in 2020 America. Finkel then gets Marino in his clutches at a dock. I'm not sure why he kisses Marino. I guess it's just part of his character because, as is revealed in the big twist later, he's basically kissed everybody. And so they all start spitting everything out and what have you, including Snowflake. They try to wash their mouths of the fact that they've kissed a man. A hilarious fight ensues. Ace Ventura saves the day. Snowflake is back in his tank. All is right with the world. This movie has no substance at all. There's no message. There's no underlying theme. There's nothing it's trying to say, and I'm totally okay with that. We all need those movies that are just pure dumb fun that we can go back to when we're feeling a little down, just pick our spirits up, and remind ourselves why movies are made. Did I just assign substance and or a message to this movie? Jim Carrey is an absolute delight to watch, and I'm so glad that I decided to watch it when I was 11 and not when I'm the age that I am now, so that I didn't just write it off as some dumb comedy flick. It is forever imprinted into my mind as pure comedic genius. And I'm going to give this one 8.8 Jim Carreys out of 10. So have you guys seen Ace Ventura? What are your thoughts about it? Let me know down in the comments below. And here's a good question. Do you like the original or the sequel better? Whatever it is, let me know. Thank you guys so much, everyone, for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next cinematic adventure.